Welcome back, Collective. Now we're talking with Yue, who's been with us for the last 4 months as an intern. She's just done an amazing amount of work. She's worked in the field. She comes from an academic background. And we're talking to her today really about what her next steps are. She's a new intern. She's a new sustainable ambassador. She has many years of career left to go. And so we hope that you'll enjoy her thoughts on what she's learned as an intern, what she's learned academically, but then how she wants to go forward with the rest of her career. So stay tuned. Thank you very much, Yue. We really look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you very much.
So actually, Yue, I want you to introduce yourself, a little bit about your background, and what you've been doing at Collective.
Okay. My name is Yue. I'm 25 years old. I graduated in 2014 from UCL in London. Mm-hmm. I had a master's degree in environment and sustainable development. And after I graduated, I started working in a London-based environmental NGO doing desktop research. And after that, I come to Collective and join as an intern as research analyst. So during the past 4 months, I've been working on different projects. I remember the second week I was in Collective, I was brought to a client meeting. And I was like, wow, that's something I was like really privileged. I said, you guys really trust me. Yeah. And then so I've been doing kind of like that, the client-facing projects, and I also do some research with research manager. We work on informal recycling in Shanghai.
Tell us a little bit about, like, how did you get into sustainability to begin with? Like, what led you to get your degree in it? What led you to do an internship with the first NGO? Like, what's your passion?
So I didn't really have any environmental background when I was in my bachelor degree at university. So I studied accounting and finance. I mean, like any other Chinese girl when she was 18 or 19, you do not know what you want to do in your life. So I studied finance and like business world. And I think it's always been something in my mind that I really want to know what exactly, because I grew up in northwest China, Ningxia province. So that area is really underdeveloped, and I see people struggling. I see a lot of sandstorm. I see environmental changes, all this stuff. So I think that's something I've been thinking, but I never actually make that sort into action. And then I realized, I'm really privileged. I get to go to this amazing university to learn stuff. Why should I learn something? I mean, like, other people can do way better than me, like accounting finance. I can do it, but maybe I could do something else that other people cannot. So I think that's kind of sort drive me to do, put my thought into action, and I really want to learn that. Then so I just, went to the environmental NGO and try to understand more about China, what exactly it means, and what do international communities see the stuff in China.
What is it you're trying to learn through the internship process for whatever it may be?
I think it's like when you graduate, you're still at the stage you feel you know stuff, but actually you do not know. So it's like you're trying to visualize how the things you learn at school can actually be put into the field, into the work, into the clients. What the other people can see the value of your stuff, maybe your brain, maybe something else. So the thing I really enjoyed at Collective is how, for the waste project specifically, and I've been given opportunity talking to the informal recycler on the street and actually understand way more what's their daily life like and why they do this job. And this is something you could never learn from reading academic paper or, like reading all this informal recycling system or regulation. That stuff also important. But to give you like holistic view of this, what's happening on the ground, this is really important. You go outside, you go do stuff.
What do you think you're going to do? Or how do you think you're going to do it? What are the big questions that you have?
That's a big question. Well, I think I will stay in sustainability. And as I said, I want to do sustainability and I want to do China-related sustainability. So what does that mean? I do not know really. That's the thing I want to find out. But given the experience I had at Collective, and I want to find tangible business cases. I want to let people understand sustainability is not just about environment. I want to let people see it's like you can achieve sustainability through tangible business cases, combining social, environmental, and economic growth together. Yeah, I guess I will stay there, Rich. I will see you someday, hopefully, at the same conference.
What are some of the challenges that you are personally passionate about when it comes to China? Like, you can do sustainability anywhere in the world. There are much better careers outside of China, but why do you want to stay close to China?
China is growing, man. Like you see it. China is massive, and China is big. You have, say, Shanghai. Shanghai is economically developed, like comparing to other cities, first tier city in China. But also in the same time, you see this informal recycler. You see people struggling. You see different layers of people. I wouldn't say layers of people. Like you see people at different stages, and you see them have their own challenges. So, for me, sustainability and how we achieve like kind of, like bring equality and bring, I don't know, just like achieving good for different people. And there's something I feel that's kind of magic about China, about these big urban cities in China.
Now, you've lived outside China for a long time. What are the things that you think people don't understand about China when it comes to sustainability? Or what are the misconceptions, or what are the things that you want them to know when you go back to London in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, it's a pretty good example. I think I told you before. When I used to work in environmental NGO, and they work a lot how to lobby Chinese government to change the legislation, to have better legislation on, say, wildlife, forestry, or the oceans. And I think a lot of like Westerners, they see China, because China is so special, they see China in a very political lens. So they think everything could be changed as long as political process or legislation can be changed. Well, I kind of agree on that, because I feel how powerful legislation can be. If Chinese government want to do anything, they can achieve that really quickly. But the thing about that is, so when you actually want to make anything done, so your final goal is to save wildlife, to save the forest. And if you trying to do that through political connections, trying to political way, that might be other issues coming on the way. So it can actually block your true goal.
Right.
So I feel if we want to do sustainability or we want to do good for the environment, we might need to find a way to work with these people, work with the stakeholders, trying to bring people all together rather than take really hard on cash way.
Do the Chinese people care?
I care. I'm Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah. And you've been here many years. People care, and people want to know more about this. But at the same time, like economic development, it's booming, and people buy more things. We got way more money to spend, and we are kind of like a lost generation. We want to care, but we do not know how. So I think that's the value for people like us. We kind of being the expert. I'm the new entrant in this work, and I want to know more about things. I want to change the situation. I want to give my information to the people who want to know and make it like available and make it really easy access to people. And it's not something, people say, oh, you do sustainability, what does that even mean? This is not something we want. We want like as tangible as possible.
You mentioned you're a new entrant. What do you think that you bring to this fight, right? Like, if you were to go talk to a company or to an NGO or to someone who you were trying to impress, what do you think that you bring to the table that would be of value to them?
The first thing I would say, like, passion. You see, like, people in this field many years, and they want to see the young generation, the millennials, they actually care. And then for me personally, I'm coming to you and I say, hey, I care. I want to do good for business. I want to do good for work, but that is not enough. And I want to show them I do not just care, and I know my things. I understand what I'm talking about. I can show you this is the research I've been doing, and this is the approach I'm taking, and say this is a project. It worked, and why it worked, this is my way, and I want to let these people know and how we can work together and bring the good for the business and for the world.
Okay. What are some of the things that you think that you're missing? What are some of the skills or the tool sets that you wish you had, or that you're going to be going and searching for in your next stage of development?
Because I've been thinking this quite a lot. Like, I grew up in China until, and I studied in China until when I was 21. So I think I made something, I kind of developed it when I come to UK, and I realized a bit more. And I wish I could start this journey way earlier. And I wish, well, I don't know if I should say in front of camera, I wish my parents let me do more decision myself. And I wish my parents gave me the opportunities and I could understand a bit more rather than, you should have a steady career. I mean, as something, if, like, I don't know, if for the future interns, I feel they have amazing opportunities to come into China, understand more about it and understand what sustainability means. For the skills that, I don't know, I'm developing it, but I wish I could start that way earlier.
While you're with us and while you've been here, you've gone to a lot of events, you've met a lot of just young professionals in the ecosystem. Like, one, how important is it for you to meet all these people, to keep going to events? And then two, like, what's your general takeaway from this group of people who are largely your own age, maybe a little bit older, maybe a little, like, how important is it to reach out and meet these people, and then what do you feel when you leave these events?
Oh, this is a really sad question.
No.
I really, really, really love going to this kind of event, meeting the community, and see so many people care about the same thing. Like, either they're social entrepreneurs or there's someone like me just into sustainability. Or some in general, like, people want to reduce, the environmental impact of their daily life. I think it's great feeling. You see people coming from different communities and they all come for the same reason. When I speak with them, like, we all learn a little bit from these people, and when I leave Shanghai, it's something I would definitely miss a lot. I don't know, like, you being here for like so many years, what do you feel like?
Is it because they inspire you, or do you learn from each other? Like, what do you get from the network right now?
Right now, because they are really young, they're about my age. They're like even younger than me sometimes. So you feel like you see these social entrepreneurs say, wow, they actually got guts. They can, like, start doing something. Maybe it's not really the best financial reward, but they start doing things. They really inspire me. You can get your things done as long as you want to. And people know people. You can, if you have like a small idea or small thought, you should just like be brave and bring it out. People will talk with you, and people will really having connections. They will introduce each other, help each other out. I think that's something I learned. And like sometimes when I before, like, I don't probably say, oh, that's also in my mind, I probably just let it skip or something. But now I wouldn't. I would really try to speak to people and say, there's no stupid question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you think about your career and the ability to have impact and sustainability, what are your thoughts about who you should work for, or what you should become in terms of, do you think that for you, entrepreneurship, like you mentioned that you love the guts of a social entrepreneur, like, do you feel that you're that gutsy? Or do you think that for you it's more about working with a multinational corporate, becoming the manager, the senior manager, the director, the VP? Like, what in your mindset is like more comfortable for you? And then what about that is more attractive than, say, the alternative?
Right. Well, for me, to be honest, I do not care. Well, I feel like the company, either big or small, either it's a startup or it's multinational for many, many years, I work with people first. And I really I needed to be sure if like the people or not. Like, say I really like you, so I come into your firm. But in terms of like the platform, I would say like multinational, lots of people will say multinational companies, they have a like good platform, you can get access to a lot of resources, which might be true, but I think you need to be cautious when you're choosing that. Like, you can be doing kind of similar routine every day. That's something, like when I choose, I might just keep that in my mind. But for the social entrepreneurs, and they might have a smaller firm, but you get hands-on, you do all the different type of stuff. And I personally really like that kind of vivid environment, and you work with great people, and people just have a laugh and get friends with each other. I like that feeling.
So are there any companies that, when you think that you respect and you love to work for, like their brands, you're like, oh, I definitely want to work with that brand or for that brand? And are there brands you're like, I would never work with them because they're too, I don't believe them or whatever?
Well, I would not work for H&M.
Okay. Why is that?
I remember the first like event I went to. Well, they're a fast fashion brand,
Yeah.
and they do a lot about the social impact on like environmental sustainability. They trying to pioneer, around that. But like for me, I might be. Well, I would say that fast fashion. Firstly, you have to have certain amount of volume to achieve fast fashion. The nature of fast fashion, you encourage people to buy more and more, right? So it's like when you get a volume like that, how can you be sustainable? Say you recycle 2% of your clothes. What does that even mean?
So no matter what they do, it's never really sustainable.
That's my thought. I think
Okay.
they were like kind of greenwashing, but I don't know. I do not know much, but for me, I would not.
So then is there a brand that you like really look up to that you're like, wow, they're doing amazing stuff and I would love to work with them?
I think I would like to try to understand more about Unilever if I got the chance. I know they are really pioneer the social impact and they trying to do good for, like in wash sector or some other underdevelopment countries. So they invest quite a lot of money in research and social entrepreneurship. So I would like to find more about that.
Okay. Do millennials care more than anybody else? Like, would you really sacrifice salary? Would you really pay more? Do you feel like your generation actually cares more or wants to change the world in a positive way versus, say, the baby boomers who... Or do you think that practically, like, yeah, we're just the same, we're just younger right now?
I think it's like people have the thought, but whether you change that thought into action, it really depends on people. So
Okay.
I have lots of friends the same age. We went to university together, and I changed my major. The other people stick with finance, and they were like always kind of joke me and say, "Oh, you care so much." And then when I buy a bottle of water, they go, "Whoa, boo, bottle of water." It's like, so I think people care, but how would you make them, actually take action?
Yeah.
That's a question,
Okay.
right?
So what do you think of the barriers to action then? Like, what prevents people from taking that step?
I think it's just like too much hassle. People do not see when you buy something, I will tell you that's sustainable and that's eco-friendly. You pay a bit extra more, and lots of people do not see the value out of it. So like, why should I pay extra bit more? I could not see the water I save. So how you make that people connect with the impact they made?
Yeah.
This is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you optimist or pessimist? And what keeps you pessimistic or what keeps you optimistic?
I'm optimistic for sure. Well, firstly, I'm really young, and my generation can do lots of things you guys probably did not have chance to or you guys want to, and we are eager to learn. And as long as you have that thought, you learn lots of stuff. Like, why can't I? I mean, like, what I'm afraid of? There's nothing. And I think as long as you have the good heart and, you learn stuff, so why we should be pessimistic about the future? Even Trump go on stage, but you don't know about him. Like, what we know what he said, and I think human always can find their way, even the most pessimistic situation. They can still find their way. That's human nature. We work something. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
We're
you,
going to
Rich.
miss you.
Yes, we're gonna miss you too.
Ooh, give us a hug.
Yes.
All right.
I hope
Okay.
future interns join us. Like, that active is awesome, and I cannot cry now.